Hey, GMC Kids parents. We have a really exciting Sunday coming up, and I wanted to take a moment to touch base with you on what that means for KidsMin. First of all, as a church, we're celebrating baptism this Sunday. There are several of our own KidsMin children being baptized, which is really awesome, as well as some youth and adults. In celebrating that, we here at Granger MC value family, and we value celebrating as our kids and adults alike take their next steps in a Jesus first life. So, baptism this time is at the end of the service this coming Sunday. We want the Spirit to have an opportunity to move and stir, and maybe we're praying there are some people who decide to take the next step of baptism, and we want to give time and space for the Spirit to work during the service on Sunday. That being said, KidsMin is going to operate just a little bit differently this Sunday. Our kids will come into the service with parents like normal and be in service for the first few worship songs, and then travel down like they normally do as they're dismissed to the back of the sanctuary, and they travel down with their teachers and helpers to their classrooms. During the sermon, we will be doing our normal KidsMin teaching and activities down in the classrooms. At the end of the sermon, our teachers will be bringing the kids back up into the sanctuary so that we can have one giant baptism celebration at the end of service this Sunday. I can't wait. I know the Spirit's going to move. And we really want our kids to be able to see that, to see kids and adults alike taking their next steps and choosing to be baptized and just declaring that people have chosen to follow Jesus. So for KidsMin pickup this Sunday, you will not be picking your kids up down in their classrooms. Instead, the KidsMin classes will be spread up amongst the first pews in each of the four sections in our sanctuary. So closest to the piano will be our racers class. Next over will be trolleys, and then we will have bikes. And then in the section closest to where the drum set used to be, or the far right side of the sanctuary, in that front row is where our trikes class will be. So your students will be in those pews waiting for you to go check them out with their teacher. So we hope it goes well. If it doesn't, have some grace with us, and we will make changes as we walk through what baptism looks like the next time around. Also this Sunday, we are launching our new curriculum. It's called The Biggest Story, if you don't remember, and we are going to start this Sunday walking through the Bible for a little over 2 years. So we want to show our kids what the great story of redemption looks like from beginning to end. So this week we're starting in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, and this week's story is called And So It Begins, and we're going to learn all about creation. So as your students walk through a Bible story week after week, there are ways that you can connect and walk alongside them as they learn the Bible from cover to cover. You can help them to engage with that at home. So there's a few different resources that are available to you to do that. The first one is the Biggest Story Bible Storybook. You might have seen these on the at the KidsMin Parent Hub across the aisle there from the check-in desk. These are available for purchase for $20. It would be really neat if you were able to grab up a copy of one of these to have at home so that you can reread the stories at home with your kids, maybe even multiple times per week. The more that we are able to talk to them about God's work and His power and His love, and how even in the hard times He helps us, just the more that we can instill God's story in their hearts at a young age, the more that they're going to know it as they get older, right? So grab up a storybook if you can. There are envelopes still out there that you can use to pay with cash or check, or now there's also a QR code out at the Parent Hub. So that way, if it's easier for you to pay through the app or to pay online using a card, you can do so. We want to make it as streamlined as possible for you. And like me, you might not carry cash or a check around with you every single Sunday. So we want to make sure that those are available easily to you. The other thing that we have out at the KidsMin Hub are these boxes of scripture cards. So each week there will be one verse of scripture that your children are learning on Sunday mornings. There is a verse card to go with each one of those verses. So you're more than welcome to also pick up a set of verse cards. The Bibles are $20, the verse cards are $10. maybe it's a good idea to just keep these in the car or keep these on your dinner table and just pull them out and say, hey, what's the story that you learned about this week? Oh, the story of creation. Cool. Let's pull that card out and let's talk about that Bible verse. And let's try to memorize it, throughout the week, or at least talk about what that means for our lives as we go. Another resource that The Biggest Story gives us is coloring pages. So this is a depiction of Genesis 1:1 and creation. These will be at the Parent Hub every Sunday. You can pick one up as you leave. Take it home. Have your kids color it maybe one evening. And that's another opportunity for you to get to talk about the creation story with your kids. Maybe they can color while you read out of the Bible storybook and reread the story and talk about that even just once during the week. So the other cool thing that we're going to do is your kids can bring these cool coloring pictures back. Maybe they want to write their name all big and bold across the top of it. And we are going to have an artwork wall close to the check-in desk. So your kids can come back, they can bring their artwork and clip it up to our artwork wall. And it will just be a lot of beautiful colors and artistic creativity, and a way for kids to display that they spent time, talking about the Bible story again at home throughout the week. Last but not least, with The Biggest Story, there is a podcast that is released on a weekly basis. So again, this week we're starting with Genesis 1:1 and the story, and so it began, or creation. So if you go to the podcast app of whatever device you use, and you just search The Biggest Story, you can access all of the stories for the next 2.5 years. So as long as you know what week we're on or what the title is, if you forget, ask me and I'll let you know. And you can follow along with that at home. These podcasts are meant to be something that you can sit down with your kids and listen to. It's a short retelling of the story with some discussion questions, and you can overhear some other conversation between kids and adults, and kids asking some questions that they might have over the Bible stories. But that's another way that we can have a touch point with our kids midweek and just kind of revisit the stories that they're learning on Sundays. Hopefully, the more that we in our homes talk about the Bible and stories and what they're learning on Sundays, the more our kids will retain and remember as they grow. And I'm really hoping and praying that this kids ministry at Granger MC really gives solid roots of biblical knowledge and knowledge of just God and his great plan and his great love for each and every one of these kids. So I'm really hoping to partner with you in that and be able to equip you to do the work of discipleship in your home, as we try to also do it in the time that we have your kids here at church. Know that I'm praying for you. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm really excited for our curriculum launch this Sunday. I'm really excited to see some of our kids and youth and adults make that public declaration following their choice to follow Jesus. I will see you all Sunday. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.